Social media is part of your resume now. Talented musicians lose gigs not because they're not good enough, but because of what they post. I've seen it happen more than once. My name's Eric Andrews. I am a local musician here in Northeast Ohio. I play about 120 solo shows a year at wineries, restaurants, public and private events. And recently I saw a post that a musician I know put on Facebook, and it was basically calling out a venue. He was upset that they hadn't hired him. He said that he had played there in 2025, the first half, and that they basically ghosted him the second half of 2025 and weren't returning his calls to book in 2026. And he didn't name names, but he said he looked at the raw. He didn't name names because he knew some of the musicians, but he said 90% of the musicians he saw that they did book weren't even good enough to hold his guitar strap or his guitar case or whatever. And he tagged the venue in the post, and I thought, well, this is a topic for a video because it's just not something you should do. I get the frustration, but how you handle it matters more than why. You never call out a venue publicly. That's a bad look. Never tag venues in your social media posts if they're negative. If they're positive, you can, but don't tag a place when you're if you're posting something negative. You shouldn't post anything negative anyway. And never compare yourself to other musicians online, even if you're right, which you're probably not 100% right. Could have been a mistake, could have been an oversight, but maybe maybe you need to take a look in the mirror. Even if you're right, posting publicly pretty much guarantees that you lose. Venues talk to each other. They know each other. Most of the wineries that I play at, like the owners know each other. I see them out sometimes. They talk. Managers and owners, they're online. They're on social media. They see social media. Friends screenshot it and will send it to the owners. Look what so-and-so, did you see this? You know what I mean? It's such a bad look. Nobody wants to hire drama. Doesn't matter how good you are. Nobody wants to hire drama. So when you post something like that, it doesn't scream strong musician. It screams, future problem, future drama. Every scene has beginners. Every scene has professionals. Music's not a zero-sum game. You don't prove you're professional by pointing out who isn't professional. It's a bad look. What professionals do instead is handle issues privately. Send a message, stop in, see the manager, talk to him. If you truly don't know what it is, maybe it's your genre. Maybe it's a I don't know, a place that wants Eagles and Tom Petty and you're playing blues and whatever. I don't know, whatever. But, stop in, say hi. And if it's just not going to work out or whatever, or they ghost you or whatever, just move on quietly. That's the professional thing to do. Just move on quietly. That didn't work out. That's okay. You need to keep your relationships intact. Never burn a bridge in anything, but especially in music. Never burn a bridge. You don't know if a hiring manager moves to a different place and maybe they become the hiring manager and they really liked you, or you never know who knows who or who would recommend who. Somebody could recommend you or whatever, but if they see you are, have a lot of drama and baggage, they're not gonna, I'm a musician. A lot of times someone will call me, I'm booked. Do you know anybody? Like, I probably would never recommend this person. I probably never would again because of that one post, just because I wouldn't want to recommend somebody and then on my reputation and then there's drama and it's a problem. So I just wouldn't do it. Just focus on the next booking. I've been doing this a while. I've been doing this for 10 years and playing 100, I say 120 shows. It's probably more than that a year. And I've had places that didn't book me again. It wasn't a fit. And I don't post about it. And sometimes it could be anything. It could be my price is too high or whatever. I'm still friendly. I would still refer people and whatever. But I certainly wouldn't go online and post about it. Or if it was a place that maybe I didn't enjoy playing there. Maybe there wasn't enough people or whatever the reason I wasn't comfortable. But I wouldn't go online and say, hey, don't play here, that they're dead or whatever. I would never play. I would never post that. That's just burning a bridge for no reason. Like I said, what you posted, you may delete your post or whatever, but there's screenshots Most of the time, what you say online never dies. It's out there. You could see that on the news and with politicians and everything else. They'll go back and dig stuff out. So when you post something, it's there forever. And deleted posts don't erase impressions. Again, I have an impression now just from seeing that one post, even though it's deleted. I have that impression now. Your reputation compounds over time. Do the right thing. Be continuously professional and worry about your set and putting on giving a professional product when you're out there. Worry about that. And your reputation builds over time. It takes time. In any case, you don't get to choose who remembers what post. Even like politics and personal pages. When I started gigging about 10 years ago or whatever, I never made any political posts on my music page, obviously my music page, or even my personal page, because I realized, pretty quick that there's a lot of crossover there. There's no advantage to it. First of all, I know people get caught up in politics and posting and all that stuff and their point. And you got freedom of speech and people should be able to express themselves. But if you're a musician, you're playing, or anybody that's out there talking to the public's going to be pretty much, it depends on where you're at, but pretty much it's going to be split 50-50. So why turn off half of your audience? There's no advantage to it. You're not going to change their mind with your political post. Like you're not going to really accomplish anything, but you will turn people off. Venues don't separate personal from professional. Venues, if you have a reputation in one way or the other, venues are going to tag you as that, and they're going to tag you as possible drama. They don't want drama with musicians. That's the number one thing I hear. One of the things I hear from owners is, they don't want any drama. Being right about something or being what you think is right, that doesn't equate to being hireable. What kind of things do I recommend that you do post, that you should post? Gratitude. That's good for your resume as well as just good for you. And so focus on the positive and being great. Post grateful. Hey, had a great time playing at XYZ last night. You could tag them in that. That's positive. Look forward to seeing you again sometime. Something like that. Venues like to see that you're active on social media, you're positive, you're showing gratitude, you're tagging them in a positive post. That's free ads for them. So they like that. You can post lessons learned, even if I wouldn't put any names out there, but you can certainly post lessons that you learned and valuable lessons that you learned that would help people. That's not negative, that's helpful. You can post behind the scenes moments. Post yourself setting up or maybe a whatever. Hey, when I'm in a small space like this is how I set up or something like that. That's way more constructive than the negative posts could ever be. So what I would concentrate on posting, especially as a new musician that's trying to get out there and get gigging, I would concentrate on growth, encouragement, experience. Those are the kinds of things that I would focus on. Music is relationship based. A lot of what we do is relationship based. So your relationships with owners, managers, employees, customers, clients, whatever you want to call them, regulars. It's all relationship based. I have a lot of good relationships with people that come to my shows. We have a good relationship. Booking is trust based. When you get booked, not only does the place trust that you'll show up at the venue, do the gig, play the songs, um, and do a good job, but they also trust that outside of the gig that you're gonna be professional and representative, just like if you were an employee. You're kind of a subcontractor, but you're kind of an employee. So you need to carry yourself in a good, respectable, positive manner on social media outside of the venues that you play. Your social media feed, it's really part of your resume. You should think about it that way. So in closing, I would say protect your reputation. It matters more than you think. I'll mention real quick that if you want my free email template to get gigs, there's a link down in the description. Grab that email, send it out to some clubs, especially if you're just getting started, or even if you're a seasoned musician and you just want a template, grab my free template and send it out and get some gigs. And I will talk to you next week. Remember, don't text and drive, and adopt a puppy if you can.